Hello there. Today I'm finishing off the videos I'm doing in remembrance of the famous Loire winemaker Jacky Blot, who died last month. So we're looking at the wine that really was his very own special development. This is the Triple Zero from his Domaine de Taille aux Loups. Jacky actually trademarked the name Triple Zero, and it was a process that he was a master of the art of producing a wine made with the addition of no sugar whatsoever. So there is no chaptalization. The grapes are picked at full ripeness, so giving up quite a nice flavour component to that, I guess. There is no sugar added to create the second fermentation, so no liqueur d'expédition. So it's the first fermentation that continues through in the bottle to create the fizz in the wine. And then finally, there's no addition of sugar at bottling as a dosage to hide the wine's acidity, or to give it a balance at the last moment. So a wine created just in almost in one action, one fermentation, and requiring quite a lot of skill to do really well. There are lots of wines around these days that are made in a similar way as pet nats, but I don't think many of them actually achieve the style and the quality that Jacky Blot managed to with Triple Zero. And the way he did this was, of course, his own very particular way of winemaking. First of all, old vines. I mean, 60, 70-year-old vines are used to make this wine. So you've got fruit with fantastic concentration. Everything's farmed organically. In the winery, natural yeasts, I believe, being used to continue the fermentation. I don't believe there's any difference there. Fermentation initially in old oak barrels, and then moved into bottle for the once a level of alcohol has been reached, so the balance of that then is creating the sparkle as well as slightly increasing the alcohol, obviously. Normally they aim for about 12.5% alcohol. I understand on this potential alcohol when they pick. This actually has 13% alcohol, so perhaps a slightly riper year. It's not vintage, so but given the process, it can't be non-vintage really. So anyway, so let's have a look at the wine, shall we? First thing to say, it's got a lovely colour, nice sort of a deep straw, almost to a sort of a very pale amber, almost to a golden note there. Lovely persistent bubbles, are absolutely tiny there. The wine spends 2 years aging on its yeast lees in the bottle, so that's going to reduce the surface tension. It's going to create tiny bubbles that are just released very slowly into the wine. So beautifully produced there. Let's have a look at the aroma, shall we? Don't really need to swirl it that much. The aromas they're quite high toned. There's quite a sort of a perfume note of apple, quince, pear, and not necessarily just as it would come off the tree, but also there's a sort of a slightly cooked apple note. There's a slightly caramelized touch of toffee apple note, I suppose. But there are also sort of lifted sherbety notes to it. There are hints of blossom. There's almost a lime flower sort of note to it, almost a slight liminess as well. So let's taste. On the palate, that's dry. It's got a lovely texture there from its sparkle, such fine bubbles. There's some really quite sharp acidity there, because I can feel my mouth watering, but that's balanced by this lovely, rich, appley Chenin Blanc fruit. This is 100% Chenin Blanc. There's some development in it, but it's not to a sort of a very bruised apple or sort of overly developed fruit note that Jacky evidently hated. He liked to keep the sort of freshness in there, and I think he's achieved that. Again, there are these sort of lifted notes of floral perfume, of sherbety notes, sort of slightly popping on the palate. There's a lovely balance with the freshness. I mean, yes, clearly there's no malolactic conversion gone on, so there is a tart note to the acidity, but that's beautifully balanced by the fruit, and actually the acidity is giving a lovely long finish. The finish is sort of quite citric. There's a chalky note, but there's actually a sort of a core of those appley notes, an apple core, running through the wine. Yes, I mean, just a real fantastic piece of balance. And one of the things Jacky said about this wine was that actually you wouldn't be able to achieve this sort of style in Champagne, because you wouldn't get the fruit ripe enough to do so. You wouldn't get sufficient potential alcohol to do that in most years in Champagne. So this was a style of wine that, as I say, he trademarked, but he very much made his own and perfected through years of making the wine. So I think this helps explain how Jacky Blot was so respected as a winemaker, in that he could make this style of wine. He could make beautiful whites, beautiful reds, sweet wines, and also his humility is perhaps reflected slightly in the fact that actually this is, I mean, check on the link below for pricing in your market, but this is not a hugely expensive wine given its quality, its individuality, and the wonderful style it's showing there. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you'll try some of the wines from Jacky and JP Blot that are available in your markets. Do please feel free to follow our channel. Do like and share the video, but most importantly, I hope you'll join us again. Bye now.